Welcome along, it's Liam here. Thanks so much for checking out part 2 of the Challenge 21 videos. I'm going to bring you some more fat loss secrets today, but I'm also going to explain what I was talking about in the email that said about the confession. Okay, the confession from the first video, which is in fact a mistake that I deliberately made so that people like yourself who took action and initiative to ask for the second video would only understand. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to tell you what the confession was, and I'm going to explain how it would impact on the people who aren't actually watching this video. So, from the last video, you probably just remember this slide. It was actually entitled How to Cleanse, and I said to cleanse you have to remove the following 5 things. I said we have to remove sugar, alcohol, dairy, processed foods, and caffeine. However, I deliberately missed one thing off, and the reason I missed it off, like I say, I want people who want to learn. Okay, I want people on this program who want to learn more than just the minimum. Okay, the people who just took the information from the last video and applied it the next day will get phenomenal results. Okay, they'll probably just drop more body fat than ever been able to drop before. Anyway, however, they will hit a point where they simply can't go past, and that's because I didn't tell them that they need to remove wheat as well. Okay, the reason I didn't, like I say, is because I want to know. I want to get this exact sort of person that I'm looking for, and that is the person who wants to be the learner. Okay, the person who wants to learn the why behind why all of this is so successful in guaranteeing fat loss. Because you've signed up, you've asked for the second video, and you get all these secrets. So, wheat's the problem with wheat, or what's the problem? Your body can't distinguish between wheat and sugar, so every time you eat wheat, your body thinks you've eaten sugar. Insulin levels rise, blood sugar levels rise, and we enter fat storage, followed by cravings. Bad news for fat loss. It's also an allergen that causes allergic reactions, asthma, eczema, and nausea. It causes intolerance. Pretty much 99% of people are intolerant to wheat. However, that doesn't mean they're allergic. Intolerant means you get poor digestion, bloating, tiredness, fatigue, and food cravings. Okay. After you've had a pizza, you probably just want to lie down because there's a lot of wheat for your body to digest, and your digestive system simply doesn't like it. Wheat is toxic and stores as fat. Okay, so read your labels, you'll find that wheat's pretty much in everything, highly due to cross-contamination as much as anything else. So that's wheat, that was a sick thing, and that was the confession. Now we're going to delve into a few more fat loss secrets that I'm pretty sure you've never come across before. Okay, number 1, cortisol, stress hormone, essential for survival, and the fight or flight response. The fight or flight response you've probably heard of before, okay, and it's, if I had to give you an example, would be the time when you catch a car coming up the road out the corner of your eye. Instinctively you jump out the way, but you have no recollection of how you managed to move out the way. You just do it naturally. That's the fight part of the fight or flight response. That's the flight part even of the fight or flight response. So that's cortisol in your body's way of moving you out the way of the external stressor. That's the ideal way to deal with stress. Every time stress is encountered by your body, cortisol is secreted by your adrenal glands. However, increased cortisol levels equals increased belly fat. If you were just getting cortisol secretion at times of fight or flight, so a time where you encountered a stress, it happened quickly, then it disappeared, then that wouldn't be a problem. You wouldn't have increased belly fat, okay, because it would happen quick, sharp, and it would disappear. Unfortunately, we have prolonged exposure to stress due to our hectic lifestyles, meaning it causes catabolic effects, okay, but also increases fat storage. Catabolic is simply wasting. Remember, we spoke in the first video about wasting muscle tissue. When cortisol is high, we waste muscle tissue, the only tissue to burn calories and maintain metabolism. Bad news for fat loss. Caffeine can elevate cortisol for up to 16 hours. So if you're a heavy caffeine drinker, whether it's coffee, tea, energy drinks or sports drinks, you probably don't sleep very well. And finally, we've got the fact that cortisol is simply good, but it is bad as well. Okay, unfortunately, we're exposed to too much cortisol because of our highly stressed lifestyle, meaning it's very bad, but we simply can't live without it. We're actually genetically programmed to follow a rhythm of cortisol. Okay, so cortisol is meant to look like this throughout a 24-hour period. It's meant to peak in the morning to get you up and go, and then it's meant to sort of drop quite quickly until around about midday, where it'll gradually come down and down and down until about 6 when you chill out and you wind down. At 10 PM at night when we go to sleep, or when we're meant to go to sleep, physical repair starts until 2 in the morning until psychological repair takes over until 6 o'clock, when you're meant to get up and cortisol will spike again. Okay, that's the ideal scenario. Unfortunately, we look more like this. This is chronically elevated levels of cortisol. So cortisol is the red line again on this one. And as you can see, instead of coming down to its pretty much lowest point or lower point at 12 midday, it's actually higher than it was in the morning. So whatever's happened from 9 till 12 stressed our body. That could be work, that could be driving, that could be money, that could be anything. Okay, anything that puts stress on your body will elevate cortisol. Over the 24 hours, as you can see, cortisol levels are extremely elevated. All the while your body will be storing fat. If we don't learn how to control cortisol and get it to match more of the rhythm of the first diagram, then you're going to end up storing a lot of body fat. So being stressed chronically stores a lot of fat. So aside from cortisol, which we all thought was the main stress hormone and is still the main stress hormone, there's something called HSD. Okay, so this is the kind of secret part that I'm pretty sure you've never come across. HSD, or 11-beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase, fortunately there's an abbreviation for that, is a secret fat storing enzyme found predominantly around the abdominal fat area, okay, or the midsection, from kind of the thighs all the way up to the belly button area. But it's also highly prominent in the liver and the brain. HSD levels are genetically predetermined. So whether you have high, medium or low levels of this fat storing enzyme is determined at birth. There's nothing you can do about it to remove them, yeah, but you can control them. HSD's function is simply to reactivate cortisol. When cortisol becomes inactive in your fat stores or in your blood, it becomes cortisone. HSD simply switches on cortisone into cortisol, storing you fat, every time you encounter stress. So whatever the stress may be, whether it is commuting or whether it is sort of work or finances or whatever, HSD will actually function to reactivate cortisone into cortisol, and it'll store your fat. So the more stressed you are, the more active HSD is, and the more cortisol you have in your fat stores. It also increases the exposure of cortisol. Okay, so as I said, when you're highly stressed, HSD activity will be really high. Okay, it'll actually increase exposure of your fat stores to cortisol, meaning you store even more fat. People with low growth hormone and low testosterone levels have high HSD activity, and they also have increased belly fat. The reason we're not doing cardio is because that depletes both growth hormone and testosterone, subsequently leading to high HSD activity. We need to manage and balance HSD activity by doing resistance training, which will promote growth hormone and testosterone, which will suppress HSD activity, notably burning fat from your stomach. So that was quick, that was fast, and that was informative. Then protocols on how to manage cortisol and HSD are actually written into your daily programs that I'm going to provide for you in Challenge 21. However, I think it's your turn. I think it's now your turn to decide whether getting your body back really is important to you. I want you to decide whether it's now time to look and feel amazing again. Yeah, you didn't always feel this unhappy about yourself. There was a point in time when you probably didn't pay much attention to your figure because you were in great shape. Yeah, and that's the point that I want to get you back to. You need to decide whether you'll keep trying all of these failed fatty diets and slimming clubs instead of making the change to the new ones and the new proven methods that work time and time again. The fact that you're watching this second video tells me that you're definitely ready to do this. I want you to decide whether to end your weight problems right this second. Learn the why behind successful fat loss and learn the most important part, which is how to lose it and keep it off. I'm not going to give you something that's just going to work for 3 weeks and then you're going to gain the weight. That will be a waste of my time, a waste of your time, your money. Okay? Once you finish, you can take all the information away and it's going to continue to work. The investment from you is £87 for 3 weeks. If you want me to educate you for an hour at a time, I would charge you at least £50. Okay, for 1 hour of my time of education. So £87 for the full 3 weeks. It's even cheaper than Get Fit Academy. I want you to invest a goal-orientated mindset and a can-do, will-do attitude. I don't want anybody who's going to be saying, what about this, what about that? I just want you to get on with it, okay? by all means question some of the things I'm telling you regarding fat loss and the protocols. But when I say this is what I want you to do, this is the exercise and workout I want you to do, I don't want you to turn around saying why. Okay? Do it. Yeah, I'll explain why after you've done it. I want everyone to have an open mind. You must be open-minded to listen to this second video, okay? Because this is, I'm guessing there's new stuff for you right now, okay? But as we go through the program, I'm going to introduce even sort of more different and more complex concepts that I'm pretty sure you've never come across before. By now, you're probably realising that fat loss is more than just counting calories and exercising more. I want you to invest a willingness to learn and a willingness to learn the why. Because once you leave the program, I want you to keep burning. Okay, I want you to keep dropping fat, and you will keep dropping fat provided you invest the time to learn why while you're still on the program. I want you to give accountability to everybody else. It's going to be a group of us doing this, okay? And I want you to become accountable to everybody else. And I want you to be happy with that. So at the end of the 3 weeks, we all set goals, okay? And I want you to sort of deliver on your goals, okay? So by becoming accountable to everybody else, that makes you mean that you have to deliver on your goals, which is exciting, and it keeps compliance super high, okay? And I want you to ignore everyone else. Forget what everybody else says. Forget what your parents say, your friends say, or whatever, yeah? If they knew this stuff, they would be in great shape, but they're not, okay? We're not everybody else, as you can tell. We like to be in the minority, but we're in the minority of people who are getting results time and time again. So whatever you do for the next 3 weeks, ignore what they say and do the stuff that we talk about. So remember, 21 days from now, you could still be frustrated at not getting results. You could still keep all of your insecurities and negative thoughts about and feelings about yourself. You could be no further forward in learning the why to fat loss success, and you could have missed out on your chance to make a change. 10 people is only the amount of people that I want in this program. 27 people messaged me privately on Facebook asking for this program when I put out a message the other week. I haven't even sent it to an email list of 100 people, so in total probably go to about 800 people. Don't miss out on your opportunity. Or 21 days from now, you could have received daily guides telling you exactly what to do each day. I'm actually going to give you the guide the night before, so you wake up, you know exactly what time you need to wake up, what you need to do the minute you wake up, and even the time you need to go to bed. I'm not going to give you it as one chunk so you're confused. You're going to get in bite-sized, digestible chunks. Pardon the pun. Okay, you could have received daily and unlimited access to me for 3 weeks, all for the same price of £87. You could have learned several fat loss protocols, developed what we've talked about today, and learned tons more. Ones that will always work and never stop working, and ones that people probably start asking you for. You will at least be a dress or a clothes size smaller, and you will have your body back. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to keep it forever. If you don't, as promised, you will get everything back. Okay, if you want to take action, there's going to be a link that comes on screen now. Click the link, make the payment, and I'll see you on day 1.